Module Overview. The budget presentation process does not end once a proposal is submitted. Rather, it undergoes an intensive process of review, evaluation, negotiation, modification, and final approval. This module focuses on the complex and often political journey that a budget must travel before it becomes legally enforceable. Whether in public institutions, private corporations, or NGOs, this phase of the budgeting cycle demands a mix of analytical rigor, strategic alignment, compliance checks, legal due diligence, and final decision-making by authoritative bodies such as parliaments, boards, or donor agencies. The review and evaluation phase, a strategic lens. Budget review is a structured process where the submitted budget is analyzed against various internal and external benchmarks. Key evaluation objectives: alignment with strategic goals, accuracy and realism of estimates, compliance with legal frameworks, risk and contingency planning, sustainability and financing structure. Budget review. Bodies may include finance and budget committees, internal and external auditors, legislative budget offices board, finance subcommittees, donor advisory panels. Each group brings a different lens to the evaluation, which is why this phase can be complex and time-consuming. Criteria for budget appraisal. To ensure objectivity, many institutions adopt formal criteria for appraisal. These include criteria and description. 1. Strategic relevance. Is the budget aligned with organizational priorities and national or donor goals? 2. Affordability. Are resources available or expected to finance the plan? 3. Efficiency. Are outputs achievable with proposed inputs? 4. Transparency. Are assumptions and calculations visible, justified, and accessible? 5. Equity. Does the budget promote fairness, inclusion, and balance? Failure to meet these standards often leads to rejection, revision requests, or delayed approval. Tools and techniques for budget review. A. Variance analysis compares projected figures with historical data to detect anomalies. B. Scenario testing simulates different economic or funding scenarios to test budget resilience. C. Sensitivity analysis examines how budget outcomes change with fluctuations in key variables, e.g., exchange rates, interest rates. D. Benchmarking compares similar departments or industry standards to evaluate efficiency. E. Independent expert reviews invites neutral third-party experts to provide an external perspective before approval. These tools help reviewers make evidence-based decisions rather than relying solely on intuition or politics. Common issues detected during review. During review, the following problems frequently emerge: overestimated revenues or underestimated costs, lack of justifications for line items, inconsistencies across departments, double counting of expenditures, misalignment with national or corporate policies, ambiguity in performance indicators, poor integration of prior year lessons or audit recommendations. Addressing these issues proactively increases the chance of approval. Negotiation and budget revision. Very few budgets are approved in their original form. A robust negotiation process usually follows. Tactics for successful budget negotiation: provide data-backed justifications for every item, offer alternative scenarios or phased rollouts, align contentious items with institutional goals, highlight long-term value over short-term cost, show willingness to compromise on non-essential items. Negotiation is not about winning, it's about alignment and consensus building. Legal approval mechanisms. Once the final version of the budget is agreed upon, it must pass through a formal approval process, which varies depending on the institutional structure. A. Public sector approval flow. Committee recommendation. Legislative vote. EEG. Appropriation bill. Executive assent. President, Governor. Gazette publication. B. Corporate sector. Approval. Flow. Executive Review Board of Directors resolution. Filing with regulatory authorities, where necessary. C. NGO donor budget approval, donor agency sign-off MOU or grant agreement modification disbursement trigger based on approved figures. Approval transforms the proposal into an authoritative document, a blueprint for action and accountability. Post-approval documentation and communication. Once approved, the final budget must be documented and shared across the organization to ensure smooth implementation. Post-approval requirements, preparation of official budget books, uploading into financial systems, e.g., ERP, circulation to department heads and stakeholders, orientation sessions and compliance reminders, internal dashboards for tracking expenditure. Clarity after approval ensures everyone is working from the same script. Ethical considerations in budget review and approval. At this stage, integrity matters more than ever. Ethical lapses in review and approval can lead to corruption, e.g., padded budgets, favoritism in allocations, political manipulation of figures, neglect of vulnerable populations, non-transparent changes to approved items. Reviewers and approvers must commit to fairness, transparency, merit-based decisions, accountability to stakeholders. Summary: the final gate before implementation. This module emphasized that final approval is the culmination of technical work, negotiation, stakeholder engagement, and ethical responsibility. Without a sound review process, budgets can be wasteful, unrealistic, or illegal. With the right procedures, however, they become powerful tools for impact and sustainability. You should now be able to participate effectively in the review process, anticipate and address objections, provide data-driven justifications, navigate legal and institutional approval paths, ensure ethical compliance and documentation.